leads us to example 2 for our hyperbolas, which is not actually written out on the back of your note sheet, but we'll add that there. So example 2. Find the vertices, the foci, and the asymptotes. Of the hyperbola. Four y squared minus x squared equals 16. And also sketch the graph. There's a lot of stuff we need to do here. First of all, I noticed that my equation for my hyperbola is not in standard form because it doesn't equal 1. And we need to start off by dealing with that. So divide both sides of your equation by 16. Now it gives us the equation y squared over 4 minus x squared over 16 equals 1. Now, since my y squared comes first, that's telling me that my hyperbola is vertical. And also that my vertices are going to be at 2, plus or minus 2, because that's the square root of this. Let's start off with our sketch, and we'll add in our information as we go. So I need to find my vertices, need to find the foci, need to find the asymptotes. Again, our vertices are at 2 and negative 2. Our foci, we don't know exactly where those are. Foci don't come straight from the equation. The 16, this b value, tells us the width of that central rectangle. 16 is 4 squared. It's the width of our central rectangle when we go to make our hyperbola. So again, the 4 comes from our b value, and the 2, from where our vertices are, comes from that 4, that a value. Well, these diagonals form the asymptotes for my hyperbola. Really, once I know where those asymptotes are, we can make that sketch because we know our vertices. And we know our hyperbola is not going to cross those asymptotes. So our hyperbola itself is going to do something kind of like this. Now, when we're asked to find the asymptotes, not only do we want to draw them in, we also want to find the equation of those asymptotes. And that's really not too bad if you remember how to write your equation of a line, y equals mx plus b. For all of these, though, we're going to go through the origin. So diagonal line, y equals mx plus b. B is our y-intercept. Again, we're going through the origin. M is our slope. So looking from our origin to the end of this box here, rise over run, we went up 2, we went over 4. So 2 over 4 x, or even better, y equals 1/2 x is the equation of one of our asymptotes. That's our equation of this asymptote here. But then we also have our asymptote that's going down, which would be the same, just negative. Y equals negative 1/2 x. Last thing we need to find are foci, and we can use that right triangle thing. Our foci backtrack for a second. Our vertex, our origin, and our b value form a right triangle. And this hypotenuse line is also the distance to my focus. This length is 2, this length is 4. We can use our Pythagorean theorem to figure out our hypotenuse. Which is where our focus is going to be. So 2 squared is 4 plus 16. C is plus or minus square root of 20, which again is about 4.5. That does simplify though, which we like to do. Plus or minus, well, 4 goes into 20 and that's a perfect square. 2 square root of 5. My foci are up here a little bit, about 4.5. We just want to plot those on our graph as well. And we'll just write that out. So foci are at 0 plus or minus 2 square root of 5. Again, a lot of parts to this question, but there we go.